There was an idea
to bring together a group of remarkable people.
What's up, guys? It's Alex.
It's Quinn.
It's Iconic Comic. We are back, and we are ready to spoil Avengers Infinity War. Oh, it's time. Before we get into this really quick, make sure you guys head over to tblocks.com. That really cool site. You guys can get a really cool geek t-shirt. If you use our code IconicTBX, you can save 10% off your order. Go check those guys out. Infinity War spoiler talk.
Okay, so this is definitely going to be the, like I feel like with this movie, we got to go top to bottom. Like,
okay, hold on.
You know what I mean?
But before that, let's get everything out of the way that we kind of knew what was going to be in this movie. The snap. We knew that was going to be in it. We didn't know when.
But did we, though? We kept saying, like, how awesome it would be, and we want it to happen. But even there were still parts of us that were like...
Maybe they'll wait to the next one.
Because the trailer, like, they put it in the trailer. Like, are they, like, it's almost like giving it away. Like, would they still do it?
Yeah.
And they did it.
So we knew, or we thought it was going to be in there. It was in there. Stormbreaker. We knew Stormbreaker was going to be there.
See, a lot of you guys are going to be like, well, the toy thing already came out or whatever. We called it before the toy thing.
We called it before that.
We didn't call it Stormbreaker. We were like Ultimate Mjolnir with the axe on one side. We were like, he's going to get that from the comics. We said that a freaking year ago. Like, we hope he gets that.
And then the Iron Spider. That was there.
Oh, yeah.
That was awesome.
Like,
so
obviously,
well done.
we knew at the end of Homecoming, but we were like, we want those legs to come out.
We want the legs.
And they used them a lot.
Yeah. A lot of people died.
Oh, my God. All right, so...
Let's talk deaths.
When the movie, so we saw it opening night, great crowd, amazing, probably the most fun I've had on an opening night ever, more than Star Wars Force Awakens, because I don't know, with Star Wars Force Awakens it was like, I don't know, because everybody's a Star Wars fan pretty much, you know what I mean? Not everybody's a Marvel fan, so we were in there with deep cut Marvel fans, and whenever like a character would show up, like when Spider-Man showed up on screen the first time, the place went nuts. Like when Thor shows up at a point in the movie that we'll talk about later, things get nuts. But when it started, the movie started, we were sitting next to each other, and you see the comic book pages, the red Marvel logo, and there was no sound.
Nothing.
And I hear him go, oh. Like, we're into this. Shit. And then you just hear, this is the Asgardian refugee ship. And we're like, we are in. Oh, my gosh. And dude. Right off the bat, in the first 5 minutes of the movie,
wrecking fools.
They show us just what Thanos is about.
In
dead Asgardians everywhere.
Most of it wasn't even him.
No, it was his Black Order.
Black Order.
Who were awesome.
Ebony Maw is so creepy.
Ugh.
I mean, he's like, I spilled water.
He's almost like a prophet. Like,
he is the prophet of this group, and he was basically thanking the Asgardians for dying. I feel like,
and like he's just walking over their corpses, you know, rejoice. Like he said, rejoice every time he showed up. Like, you know. Like when he shows up on Earth later, it was so. Those are the points where it felt almost like a horror movie, where it was just him, you know, rejoice, you are about to die at the hands of the children of Thanos. You know, you should be grateful and all this. It's like, this is super scary. Like, and you know, you see Thanos standing there on the Asgardian ship, full armor, like a badass, dragging Thor by the collar,
yeah,
and then holding his head up, and there's something very unsettling, and I'm not like, this is not a bad thing about the movie, no, this is like, they went there, something very unsettling about seeing Thor, the character that we've been with for almost the full 10 years, like 7 or 8, like being held by his head and just blood gushing from his mouth, and just it was unsettling almost.
That scene, like, reeled us in, taught us who Thanos was.
Thanos?
Did I say?
You say Thanos?
Thanos was. So we gotta talk about the death. So, but before that,
we have a Hulk.
So Loki is sitting there and he's talking to Thanos, to Barney, and no,
Grimace.
Right. And then Hulk comes in and starts to F him up pretty good, so we think. And then the Black Order is about to step in, and then Maul goes, let him have his fun.
As soon as he said that, we went,
As soon as he said that,
oh,
dude.
Shit.
So Hulk has Thanos up against the wall, and Thanos just grabs his arms, and then you see the worry in Hulk's face.
Because it was pretty effortless, the way Thanos did it. It wasn't like,
nothing.
it was like, it was like, get off of me. And how technical he was. Because Hulk is a brawler. He's not a technical striker or anything. Thanos is. Like, he was just dodging everything and just quick punches. And then he throws his knee and just knocks Hulk out, puts him over his shoulder, and slams him.
The nose was like jacked.
Just slams him on the ground. And it's like, oh God. And then Heimdall gets the last bit of dark magic that he can will and bifrosts Hulk to Earth just to send a warning to them that this shit's coming.
And then Heimdall dies.
And like Thor's that's the thing. It's like sometimes, deaths in this movie, or really any movie, sometimes it's not the death. It's the other people's reaction. And Thor's reaction to Heimdall's death and the next one, it hit me so hard.
And then we have Loki. They talk about going to Earth. And then Loki, says, you guys might need a guide.
I've been there.
So
I have experience.
So he's in front of Thanos, and he's basically pledging his loyalty to Thanos. And when he's... Oh, my God. When he's announcing who he is... when he says Loki... and he
Prince of Asgard. Odin's son.
When he did that, I was like... He's dead.
Well, that...
He's
but
done.
Just the way he accepted it. Like...
When you accept that.
And he gives Thor a look like,
in
I'm
your
about
heart.
to do this.
So then, tries to kill Thanos, stops him. Thanos grabs him by the neck with the gauntlet, and just crushes him.
And what did he say before that? You will never be a god. Crushes his throat. And then there's another moment in the movie that's sort of like this, but the way he just dropped his body in front of Thor, threw him at the feet of Thor, and his body just, like, it was like dropping a bag of bricks. It was just, and it's like, oh, this is really, like, again, like a freaking horror movie.
Yeah.
And then
it was rough to see.
No resurrections this time. Because he knows Loki's a trickster or whatever. He's like, nope, he's dead because I killed him. And then...
Yeah, that was bad.
I love the way they show the power of each stone when he uses it. And, he uses the power stone to, light the ship on fire, and then immediately uses the space stone that he got and crushed with one hand, like, holy shit. And then teleports them all back to their ship. And just Thor crawling to his brother, and then the thing explodes. We get Hulk in the Bifrost crashing into the Sanctum Sanctorum, which... a very funny conversation that kind of like gets forgotten.
Yeah.
It's just like they're about to go get food. Like, we never see superheroes going out to eat. Like, and like,
Never.
But Wong doesn't have any money, so it's like if you talk like if you think about the physical, you forget the spiritual. Yeah, I'll tell the guys at the deli that I'm sure they'll make you a metaphysical ham on rye. And then boom, crashes through, and the way Strange suits up is so dope. Just. Because he's in just, like, sweats and a t-shirt or whatever, and then flap.
Suits up.
Like, when Banner crashes, he is still turning back into Banner, like Hulk is. And
But, like, Hulk was afraid.
Oh, my.
Because when you saw Banner, he was still full green. When you saw him, like, when he initially landed, And he had the worry on
in the
his
deep
face.
voice, because it's still kind of hawkish, like, Thanos is coming.
Yeah.
He's coming. And then that score builds, and then the title card. Oh my gosh! Like I could watch that on freaking loop, because Doctor Strange is like, who? Boom. And then we get to Doctor Strange meeting Tony for the first time.
That was funny.
It was hilarious because
That was funny.
he shows up and it's like, he had this conversation with Pepper about wanting to have a kid and everything, and Strange shows up. It's like, Tony Stark, I'm Dr. Stephen Strange. You need to come with me. Like, that's the thing about this movie. It's just so bam, bam, we're going. We're moving. Like, and we, like, almost the characters have to catch up to us, like, what we know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, I just love that he's like, you selling tickets to something? Like, and, he takes him, and just the look on Tony's face when they're explaining Thanos who he is and what he can do, when he's just sitting in the Sanctum, just taking it all in, just like, oh my God, like, this is it. Mm-hmm. The end of the path I started us on.
Yeah. And then, not too long after that, we finally see the Black Order, part of the Black Order in action when they take on Wong, Strange, and Tony.
That scene, not like a horror movie, but like a thriller, the way when they leave the Sanctum, and it's that one shot where the camera's following Tony going through, chaos everywhere, cars crashing, and, it was... I get chills thinking about how serious this movie is at times. Like, when he's, like, walking through the sidewalks, like, Friday, what do I got? Like I'm still trying to figure it out. Like, you might want to put that time stone in your back pocket, Doc. Might want to use it.
Or use it.
God, I love Doctor Strange so much.
But then you see Maul, and he's just hands out wide, rejoice. And then Earth is closed.
Squidward, get out of here, get lost, Squidward.
And then something really important happens. What's the big one's name? Forget.
Is that one Corvus Glaive?
No,
I can't remember if that's
Corvus Glaive is one with the staff.
Damn.
I think. I'm forgetting the names, but the big guy. We'll call him the big guy.
Oh, anyway, get the big guy.
So he starts going towards the four of them, and Banner's there. And he's trying to get the Hulk to come out. He just can't get the Hulk to come out. And we didn't realize this until later, until things have calmed down in our own mind. Hulk's not coming out. He's scared. Mm-hmm. He knows he's not the strongest one anymore.
Oh, yeah.
He's terrified.
He's never been beaten before. He's been bested, but not beaten.
He was beaten by Thanos.
Him and Thor's, tussles... Usually, because you can't kill Hulk. Even Thanos, I mean, I'm sure with the gauntlet, with full gauntlet, he could probably do something really bad. But, Thanos could punch Hulk a bunch and still not kill him. It's literally impossible. But he knew that he had been beaten. With Thor, it's like a stalemate. We're fighting or whatever. And even with the Wolf, Fenris and Thor Ragnarok, it got a good shot in, and then Hulk's like, F this, bop, you're out of here. But this was the first time we saw Hulk truly beaten, and he was like, I ain't having it no more. Something huge in the next movie is going to happen for him to come out. Maybe Nat dying, I don't know, or Nat in danger at the very least, I don't know. But, and I think one of my favorite lines in the movie is when he's trying to, and Stark looks at Strange and then just leans into Banner and goes, dude, you're embarrassing me in front of the wizards. Like I said, moves really fast, but not too fast, and it's just Tony just kind of has to accept, okay, there's wizards. There's Protector. Oh my God, the line, we skipped over it though. Because we all wanted to see Doctor Strange and Tony because they're basically kind of the same ego level. Just one's more of a dick about it than the other, and I actually think it almost role reversed a little bit in this movie. But
I know
when he goes and what's your job again besides making balloon animals, protecting your reality, douchebag?
Tony's finally getting it thrown back in his face.
Oh yeah, and then Spider-Man shows up to help out in that battle, which is amazing.
So they kind of take on the Black Order for a little bit, but then they finally get Strange. He's wrapped up and goes, up into the ship. That's where you see Spider-Man in the trailer. He's on the ship. They are leaving. They're going bye-bye. And then Tony goes after him. He deploys the Iron Spider.
Oh my
awesome.
God. Like, when it formed on him, like when he fell off and it like covered him, it's just like, you know.
Like, there it
"Oh,
is.
it smells like a new car in here."
Where did it jump right after that?
Well, it went, so, you know, Tony got inside the ship. Again, very eerie, very scary. When, like, Pepper calls him, and it's like, Tony, where are you? And it's like, it's so, like, I don't know, I can't describe the feeling. It's like Tony Stark is not Earthbound anymore.
Nope.
He's going on a ride, and, like, it's scary. Because right now, in his mind, and obviously he's not, he's alone in this battle. You know, Pepper calls him, whatever, and it shorts out. You know, he lost Friday too, like, so
Yeah.
he's all alone. And then it goes back down to the ground. Banner's got the cell phone. Obviously, he calls Steve, but you hear the music start picking up. Space. I love the title cards in this movie. Because when you heard the music and then space came up, the whole crowd knew it was going to be the Guardians, and everybody cheered like, yeah.
That was a cool transition. That was another breather.
Oh my God, yeah.
And then
the Guardians kind of serve as that in this movie.
And then went right back, and then basically the Guardians answered the distress call that the Asgardians did. The Guardians, the Asgardians.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I got them switched.
The Asgardians of the Galaxy.
So the Guardians of the Galaxy get to where Thanos.
Very late.
Yeah, he got there a little too late. You know, they get Thor in the ship, and, you know, Chris Pratt and Thor. That's it. Star-Lord and Thor. I think they work really well together.
I just
like, their
love how
dialogue is
offended Star-Lord kept getting with everybody infatuated about Thor. Like how's this dude still alive? You're a dude. This is a man. Very muscular man. It's like, I'm muscular. Quill, you're one sandwich away from being fat. Like, what? Like,
yeah, he got totally crapped on, which is funny. But Thor with the Guardians.
Not a combo a couple years ago I would have thought about, but especially after Ragnarok, it makes sense. Like,
Yep.
and like, because they're both, like, Thor's an alien. Like, if you really want to think about it, you know what I mean? He's
yeah.
an alien. So it really makes sense for him to meet up with those guys. And I love how when Thor wakes up, he's kind of all focused on the mission now. It's killing Thanos. Like, he is all business. Like,
And
I don't need a spoon. I need a hammer. Like,
I love the lines when he was talking to Rocket about, you know, kind of what happens. Like, oh, dead brother. I forget what he says right after that, but, you know, then he's like, Thanos is the best there is.
mm-hmm. Even Rocket is kind of getting serious.
It's like, that's he's the one.
But he hasn't fought me. Yes, he has. Well, he hasn't fought me twice.
And he was using humor to kind of, I guess, reel himself in.
And kind of mask, like, kind of like put out a front to Rocket, like I'm a badass, I'm a god, I can do this. Like,
what did he say right before? What did Rocket ask him? Like,
Rocket's like, well, what if, basically, what if you lose? And it's like, or like, what if it doesn't work? And, you know, he's like, well, what else do I have to lose? And you realize how much Thor's really lost. He's lost so much in such a short amount of time. His dad, his brother, his mom,
his sister.
More than...
She's more of a villain.
Like, more than half of the Asgardians. We're assuming that, because he said Thanos killed half of them, which is his motif. Usually kills half. I think the other half of the ship with Valkyrie and that got away somehow. Like, Thor was like, get out of here. I'm going to try to hold him off. But even the Asgardians who got killed before that on the planet, like the entire army, he's lost so much. And his hammer. He lost his hammer.
Yeah.
So he's been through so much, and it's just, I think it all came out in that one moment. That one tear that came down was all of that, just emotion. And then I do like just Rocket's like, I could lose a lot. Like, you know,
Like, I have a lot to lose.
I have a lot to lose. Like,
then it becomes this arms race. So you keep jumping from one set of characters to this other set of characters, and then
this movie's a giant third act. Like, the whole movie is a third act. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's no like, this is the exposition scene. This is like no.
Then we get to Scotland, with Vision and Scarlet Witch, and they're trying to live their life together. Black Order's not having that, so it was, if I'm saying this right,
Proxima Midnight
and
Corvus Glaive.
Yeah. So the two of them are trying to get this, get the Mind Stone from Vision. And
Almost got it twice.
Yeah,
it was really close. But Scarlet Witch shows you
she's powerful too.
One of the most powerful, I would say.
And
she's
then
like Thanos. And
then the train starts to go by.
Oh,
and you see the silhouette.
My God.
And then the music.
Like
it was the Avengers theme. It was
the way he catches that spear.
It was awesome. And then Falcon's flying in, Black Widow sliding in. It was awesome. Great way to intro
the Secret Avengers.
That set of characters.
Yeah, and I would say probably in the top 3 applause moments in the theater was when everybody realized it was Cap, and he catches it and he comes out of the dark. That theater, the roof blew off that place. But I loved, because here's the thing, for me, after all, like Civil War, Vision to me was he was a dick. Like I was like I didn't like Vision in that movie. Like it made sense for his character. This movie really made me care about Vision a lot.
Yeah.
And he was very humanized. That's a word we're going to use often in this spoiler review. A lot of people were humanized in this movie, and Vision was one of those people because we saw he was beginning to love. Like he was feeling emotions and becoming more human, and he wanted to be more human. Yeah. And when they help him up, and the first thing he says is like Sokovia Accords aside, all this BS. Thank you, Captain. Like, let's get you on the jet. Like, the things are so much bigger than what happened in Civil War. Like, we need to put that aside. And that happened earlier with Tony. Like, the way Bruce said, "Quit the bullshit, Tony." Like, I don't care who you're not speaking to right now. This is Thanos. Call exactly. Cap.
So then when they say Vision and Scarlet Witch, they come up with a plan to basically take the Mind Stone out, but they don't know how. And then that's when Cap says, "I know a guy." we go to Wakanda. So now
we did go to Avengers Compound for a little bit too. That's how we introduced Rhodey. And I really liked Rhodey in this movie. Again, another character who was like kind of put the Accords to the side and was like, no, this is what like Ross didn't even he's like, arrest them. Are you serious? F you, dude. Like there's an alien invasion happening and you're like, arrest this man. All on it.
Yep. So then when they go to Wakanda, now we've got all of our players. We've got everybody here.
The chessboard is set now.
It is
almost
set. Yeah.
Thor is still gaining pieces to his puzzle.
So I don't even know where to go. So they come up with the plan to get the stone out of Vision's head, and Shuri is working on that. There's so much.
I know.
Where do we go?
Well, before all that happens, so because they Cap's I know a place like Wakanda, and intro to Wakanda, we see T'Challa walking with Okoye, and they see Bucky, and it's like the White Wolf has rested long enough, and he brings him the freaking vibranium arm. Where's the fight? It's on its way. And I think one of the better set pieces that doesn't get talked about enough is when, because it almost happens very, very simultaneously, is when Tony Stark, Doctor Strange, and Spider-Man crash into Titan, and then the Guardians meet up at the same time, and they have this skirmish because they don't know each other, and just the way they fight, like Spider-Man with the legs out, and he sees Mantis, he's like, "Oh my God, please don't lay your eggs inside me." And they have this Mexican standoff. I'm gonna ask you this one time, where's Gamora? I'll do you one better. Who's Gamora? I'll do you one better. Why is Gamora? Drax is one of my favorite characters.
He's hilarious. He's hilarious. But then, that gets settled. They all realize they're on the same team.
And Tony realizes that, who are my helpers right now? Really? These guys? There's one look where they They hold the camera on Tony Stark silent just long enough for you to understand what he's thinking when he's trying to get the plan together, and none of them are paying attention. It's just like BSing, and he's just like, this is my team?
Like,
okay.
Are you really yawning while I'm trying to break this down?
Yes.
Sorry, I stopped paying attention when you said we need a plan. Like, what? But what really gave me chills was when Doctor Strange was sitting there, he was meditating, and he was basically going through 14,605 different futures. And Tony said, is there one that we win? And then just one. Mm-hmm. One way.
That's very key later in the movie. Then, oh my God, there's so much. I think we skipped over the whole, they go to nowhere. The Guardians do before they get there to try to get the Reality Stone. So it's Gamora, Drax, Mantis, Star-Lord, because Rocket and Groot are with Thor. And from the beginning of the scene, I was buying it. Like, he's interrogating the Collector and all this other stuff. And then Gamora kills him. Obviously, we were both like, bullshit. Like, there's no way.
Way too easy.
But, I didn't think about the Reality Stone during it until everything started fizzling out. The Reality Stone was so cool, and everything started really fizzling out, and it's just Thanos standing there with the Reality Gem. I love though when Gamora killed him that she was crying, like it wasn't like, yes, I killed you. Like, he did raise her. You know what I mean? It's a messed up relationship. And then he's got her, and she tells him again. Oh my God, we skipped over that scene too. When she told him, "I need you to kill me." If it happens, when she told
Peter Quill, when she told Star-Lord to kill her if he has to,
swear on your mother.
Swear on your mother.
Oh,
it's so heavy. It's so heavy.
But he's holding the gun to her, and she goes like, "I love you more than anything." It's like, oh God. And then Thanos messed with it. Like, he wasn't gonna let him do it. So. And I like how Thanos didn't think he would even do it, like pull the trigger. And when he did, Thanos was like, I like him. And then took Gamora.
Daddy issues.
I know. Man. And, we get the interrogation scene with Nebula, which was super horrific. Like, that was really messed up, the way he was torturing her. Gamora eventually gives up that she has the location of the Soul Stone. And then they go there, and Vormir, I think is what it was called.
Dude, this was cool as hell.
Oh my.
So Thanos and Gamora are walking up, and then you see what looks like a Dementor. And
hooded figure.
It's a hooded figure. It's floating, and it's basically, it knows who's here. Thanos and Gamora. Mm-hmm. And it's so much.
When I saw it the first time, I thought immediately that it was Death. Which when I saw it, I went, oh my God, they're going there, like, because the whole Death thing, he's infatuated with Death, they didn't do that in this movie. That was not the reason he had a different motive in the movie than he did in the comics. Yeah. And I think this works better for the film, because for general audiences, that would have been a really hard sell. Like, he's in love with the personification of Death, and that's why he's doing it. But nope, he steps forward. It's Red Skull. Like, and it took me a second to realize it was Red Skull too. Like, just because he had to step all the way into the light, and everybody at the theater at the same time went, like, you just hear like all these like, what?
It's like, that was a villain that almost felt like a throwaway villain.
But he was such a good villain in that movie, which I didn't. He was
a good villain.
Everybody's been talking about since that movie. I want Red Skull back. I want Red Skull back, because nobody thought he died. Everybody thought he got teleported, and turns out he did. Because I guess, he had to pay a price for thinking he could handle the stone, and the stones were like, all right, we're going to send you here, and you're going to be basically the gatekeeper of this thing. And the price Thanos has to pay.
Thanos. This scene humanized a person that no one would ever think would have a human side. So basically, to get the Soul Stone, you have to have a sacrifice of someone that you love.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when... So Gamora starts laughing. And basically, like, the universe has judged you because you love nothing. And then Thanos turns around, and then you see tears coming down his eyes. And then she goes, like, basically, like, really, tears right now?
He thought he was crying because he had lost.
Like, tears right now? Really? And then Red Skull goes, they're not for him.
Oh,
and then she realizes what that means, looks up at Thanos, and
she's still denying it. Like, this isn't love.
Stepping back. And,
I like how the way the music in those scenes is so good because just everything, the music, the visuals. Because she grabs the pocket knife thing and tries to kill herself first, so he's not able to get the Soul Stone, and he just immediately phases it. It's not there anymore, and he puts his hand on her shoulder like, I'm sorry, little one. Grabs her by the arm, and it's slow motion, tosses her over the cliff. It's so because it keeps trading the shot between her screaming, falling, and his face crying. And I think one of the cooler shots in the movie. I don't know why. It just the way the music, like he's crying. The music builds up. It gets super bright, and then it flashes like, whoosh, and it goes black. And then he has the Soul Stone, puts it in. So at that point, he had 4.
He's got 4 now.
Yeah. And that's when the Battle of Wakanda, I'm pretty sure, started around that time. So, he's, we'll just skip to the battle. He's, all, Black Panther's got all his people there. You got the Jabari tribe, you got the, outer...
Everybody's there.
Everybody's
there.
The Dora Milaje, the Avengers, they're all there. Well, not everybody yet. But they meet. They kind of do what's it called? Like
a war cry, war chant.
Well, not that. Like when the leaders of both armies come to the middle and basically have a talk first.
Oh, I don't know what that's called.
They congregate at the barrier wall with Proxima Midnight and the big dude. It was the big dude there, right?
Yeah.
Because Corvus Glaive was around the other side of the barrier, basically ready to attack and get vision, but. And the way T'Challa's like you are in Wakanda now. Thanos will have nothing but dust and blood, and we have blood to spare. And just lets out
just
these
freaking
crazy cannon fodder things, which look very much like symbiotes. I will say, almost Venom heads. But the way the battle starts, drop the barrier, we're going, and then you see Captain frickin' America. This tracking shot of him running through the Wakandans and meeting right next to Black Panther, and they are just leading the charge.
They are hauling ass.
Oh my god!
They are going. They're running, and then the jump that Cap does over the stream, and just boom, and then it starts.
Oh yeah, Bruce is in the Hulkbuster.
Starts wrecking shop.
Black Widow and Okoye fighting together. That's awesome. And it's just going crazy. And it keeps cutting between that and Thor forging his hammer.
So good. It's my favorite.
He had to. I like how I really like Peter Dinklage in that role. I bought it.
He did not take me out of the story at all.
No, I thought it would, but it didn't.
No,
because it was the
awesome.
way he played it. And, the dying star had went dark, and Thor had to restart the star. And I love how Rocket's still, under assuming Thor, what he can do. And it's like, wait, what do you think you're going to do? You're in space, and he starts throwing the ship around.
Towards the end of this video, I do want to talk about Thor again.
Oh, yeah.
But...
This movie made Thor my second favorite Avenger ever.
He's my favorite.
Well, I know he's your favorite, but my second favorite Avenger.
Anyway, so they finally get the star. They basically got the star at Wake, and you see the shot in the trailer where Thor is basically pulling a Cap with the helicopter.
It is very similar.
He's holding open the iris so the star could heat the metal to forge Stormbreaker.
Huh.
And it basically kills Thor. I would
or
say
gets as close as it can.
It's close without killing him. So, the two parts of Stormbreaker are forged. One's the hammer, one's the axe. And they're trying to find the handle. They're trying to find it. And Groot, for the first time, was like, oh shit. Like, it's real. So then Groot grabs both pieces, binds them together, and chops off his arm.
And the way it started floating.
And then you see Thor's fingers start to spark.
They said it, what's his name? I can't remember the character's name. Peter Dinklage's character. I can't remember his name. But he said a very key line. He's like, in theory, it could even summon the Bifrost. Which it did. Because you're in Wakanda, and all of them start to get their asses kicked. Black Panther is having trouble. Cap is covered in these aliens.
Like, they're starting to get pulled from, like,
the Hulkbuster.
Yeah. And then the Bifrost. Boom! And then you see Stormbreaker flying through the crowd, wrecking shop by itself.
You hear that Alan Silvestri music start to pick up, like,
oh my god,
dun, 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 and he pulls it back, and it's him with Rocket on his shoulder, Groot standing here, Rocket jumps off, and dude, Thor's armor looks so good. Like, it's like the chainmail kind of arm things, but it's black.
Dude, like, the excitement we had in Ragnarok when he discovered his true, like, thunder power, he had that, plus Stormbreaker.
And I love when, like, all the Avengers look up, and they're, like, almost like, we have hope now. Like,
it's like, oh, we got this now.
And Banner is like, oh, you guys are screwed now. Because he knows, like, he knows Thor better than anyone.
Thor turns around to face the army. In this line, just
and he sees Proxima Midnight and the big dude.
Sends chills up my spine when he says, "Bring me Thanos."
And one of the best shots in any comic book movie ever was right after that line. He leaps into the air. The sky goes dark with storm clouds, lightning in his eye, and he like comes up with the hammer, just
two-handed it. And the classic Thor move hit the ground with the hammer, but it was bigger than it's ever been.
Oh my god. And then right after he says, "Bring me Thanos," it cuts to Thanos showing up on Titan.
At Titan.
Thinking that only Doctor Strange is there. I think this fight scene gets overlooked.
Yeah.
But I will say the end of this movie, maybe in a better way, is very kind of Star Wars, like Return of the Jedi, like there's battles going on and they shift very well in between the battles, you know what I mean? Like the Wakanda battle, the battle on Titan, and, even it was 3 at one point, with him forging the hammer kind of deal.
Yeah, we'll call that a battle. That's fine.
An inner battle. He shows up and Doctor Strange is stalling, making him monologue a little bit. But in that monologue, we get more characterization. Why is Thanos doing this? He is not, and I will talk about this and why I think he is the best villain that we've ever seen, is because he is not doing this for selfish reasons. He is not. He thinks that what he's doing is saving everybody, because there are actually like 3 or 4 points in this movie where he kind of like is talking to someone about his plan, like this needs to happen, like this universe is finite, its resources finite. Eventually, it's going to be overpopulated. It kind of already is.
There's too many people.
We need to just wipe it out, half of it, and then we'll be fine. We will flourish and everything again. And he was talking about his planet. And he, gets the Reality Stone and makes Strange see his planet how it was. And he's saying, it was beautiful, but like any planet, got overpopulated. Resources were running low. We were facing extinction. I had a solution. Half the population, no emotion, completely random, rich or poor, doesn't matter, very clean, merciful, boom, and we would have been saved, but they didn't listen to me, and we, died. It was almost a very, very radical version of Jor-El from Superman. We have the resources running low. He didn't suggest we kill half the people, but with Thanos, it worked with some of the planets that he did it on, which is really messed up. And, it's like, takes, the people with the strongest will to make the toughest decisions, is something around the lines that he said. And then Doctor Strange is like, I think you'll find our will equal to yours. Bah! And then Thanos didn't know there were other people. He's like, our?
So basically, this whole fight scene is with the Guardians, or part of the Guardians, Tony, Spider-Man, and Strange trying to get the gauntlet off. And they almost do it.
Dude, the fight scene was so well choreographed.
They got so close. But then, so I'm just trying to skip around a little bit.
Yeah, we don't have to talk about every little action point. But
so they almost get the gauntlet off.
They got him completely wrapped up. Everybody used a piece of their powers, which was great.
So Mantis has him in this trance, which they could have got it. But then Peter decided to let his emotions cloud his judgment, which I can't totally blame him because other people have done it too.
And it's not out of character. If you watch Guardians 2, it pained me to put that tumor in her head. Didn't take more than 2 seconds. We're going to bust out the blasters and start going to town.
Yeah. So,
now imagine the woman that he loves currently.
So basically he finds out how Thanos got the Soul Stone, and he didn't like that very much. And Tony is like, come on, we almost got this off.
I don't know why I love that interaction with Tony and Star-Lord so much. Like Quill, you need focus. Like, we almost got this thing off. Like, and then just.
So then he starts hitting Thanos in the face, which
idiot.
Basically wakes him up from his trance. And then Spider-Man has one last pull of the gauntlet.
Dude, it's on his fingertips.
And Thanos just grabs it by the fingertips. He almost had it.
Dude, when he comes out of the trance, talk about him getting, because there were 2 points in the fight where he got pissed off. Because, again, like I'll say, his goal in this movie was not, I'm going to kill the Avengers. It's to do this. To clean up, clean house. Because, a lot of times he's holding back.
Yeah.
Because it's like, look, your fate is going to be decided by this. If you live, you live. If you die, you die. This will be the deciding factor. Now, if you stand completely in my way, I have to kill you. You know what I mean? But especially towards the end, he's just pushing people away. But when Tony pushes the giant spaceship on him, and he's like, easy as pie, Quill, and Quill's like, yeah, if your goal is to piss him off, and the way he busts out of there and screams that, and then right after they almost have it off and he gets it back, the way how pissed he was. And he looks up at this moon in the sky.
It's like, oh, hey.
And starts throwing chunks of this moon. And I got Iron Man's face when it cut to him inside the mask. Just, what am I looking at? This dude is just destroyed a moon and is throwing it at me. Then we cut back to Wakanda. Awesome action. And, Scarlet Witch has to leave Vision. Because the Avengers will die. She shows up. Picks up this giant ship thing and just wipes out all those space dogs. And that's when we get these really cool in battle character moments. You have Cap and Thor, seeing each other for the first time since Ultron, and it's like, new haircut. I see you've copied my beard. And by the way, this is my new friend Tree. I am Groot. I am Steve Rogers. Stuff that we have been geeking out and we didn't theorize something like that, but just character moments that we would always dreamed of happen. And then Rocket and Bucky, that's one I never thought about really.
No.
And this
that was awesome.
Come and get it, space dogs. And he's picking almost kind of like Groot and him in the first Guardians. He's got Rocket here and they're swinging around shooting. Rocket's just like, how much for the gun? Not for sale. All right, how much for the arm? And he just walks away. Oh, I'm going to get that arm. And, Scarlet Witch has to leave, and that's when the Black Order takes their chance.
Yeah, so then they get Vision out of the spot where Shuri was trying to get the stone out.
I don't know if Shuri's alive or not, honestly.
We don't know. So, basically, Vision ends up in the woods. And then the names are escaping me again. We've said his name
Corvus
a few times.
Glaive. I think that's the one.
Glaive comes in and is about to, take the stone from Vision. And then Cap comes in, tackles Glaive. They have an exchange.
Get out of here.
Glaive
Go.
is about to destroy Cap. And then Vision kills him with his own staff. So then he's in the woods. He's there. He's not really moving.
That was the last thing we saw in Wakanda and then it cut back until the end.
Yeah.
Cuts back to Titan. Again, God, they found just the right points to cut it back and forth. Like, just when you're like, yeah, but what's going on there? Boom, they take you there. Cuts back to Titan, and he had already basically knocked out the Guardians with the Power Stone, just kind of like made them go unconscious. And they're floating around on the planet because the gravity's a little off, especially with now the gravity's really off with the moon gone and it's crashing into the planet. So they're floating around. Spider-Man, I love that Spider-Man, he just wanted to save people in this movie. Like every time it's like, Mantis goes flying, like, oh god, and he's like going to save Mantis and saving all the Guardians and webbing them up. Like, sorry, I can't remember you guys' names. And then Doctor Strange and Thanos have this little magic battle back and forth. Oh my, because Thanos throws something at him, with the Infinity Gauntlet, and he tries to, trap it in the mirror dimension, throws that back, and Thanos punches the mirror dimension with the Infinity Gauntlet and breaks it, sucks it in, throws a black hole at Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange explodes the black hole into a bunch of moths, and then goes all, trippy on us. And he, makes a bunch of himself. And again, there's so many moments where this movie picks you up and then ooh, it's just like this, and you think, oh, Doctor Strange has got him now, and then I think he used the Soul Stone to find the real Doctor Strange, because it looked like that one was the one that glowed.
Probably.
And then boom, all the other ones go away, and it's just him. Knocks Strange away, and then Iron Man lands. You throw another moon at me, and I'm gonna lose it. And then
he had a really good exchange too.
Oh my god.
He had a really good exchange.
One of my favorite parts of the movie.
When he when his feet came out, grabbed the ground, and two gigantic oh my god, my brain's going so fast I don't can't think of them.
Jackhammers almost.
Some battering rams. Boom! Punches Thanos into the wall.
But even before they started fighting, they had a good exchange with words like Stark, you know me? I do. You're not the only one cursed with knowledge. He doesn't know him. It's not like they share it's not like a Harry Potter thing where they share consciousness. He knows him because of all the stones he has. He has the knowledge now, basically the knowledge of the universe. And he's you're my curse. And they start fighting, like you said. And eventually Tony Stark runs out of nanotech because I am guessing he has reserves. Because when the helmet gets ripped off the first time, you're like, oh shit. And then it comes back on, gets knocked off the second time, doesn't come back. And the armor's just not piecing back together anymore. I think he's out of nanites or whatever you would call them.
Yeah.
And he used the last bit he has. He reverts them from one arm to the other and makes a sword, goes for a shot. Thanos breaks it off
and I thought it was dead.
The gasp in the theater was audible. You could hear everybody in the theater just go... it sucked all the air out of the room because the music, there was no music, it just went silent. And again, kind of like what I was talking about with Thor in the beginning, to see Tony Stark that way, it's still unsettling to just think about. Even though I know he survives, it's the way, he gets stabbed right through, right here, and the way Thanos is just palming his head and just looking at him like he's a child, and he's gushing blood, and it's I will say this, and we said it coming out of the movie. This is not a kid's movie. It's not.
No,
it's not a kid's movie. And now kids are going to end up seeing it because it's a superhero movie, and their parents are going to take them. I really do hope that there's not a bunch of backlash, not false advertising, but parents getting mad, this is a superhero movie, and I took my kids to go see it, and blah blah blah. You know what I mean?
They went and saw Deadpool.
That happened too, but then he's about to kill Tony. And Doctor Strange does a little something, and it's
he goes back on what he said before they got the Titan. If it's between the Time Stone and you and the kid, I will not hesitate
to let you
guys die. And then he switches it. He's like, spare him, and I will give you the Time Stone. He said, no tricks. And then
the way, because it was a star, in the shot. And then the star turned into it. That was a really cool shot, the way they did that.
It looked like it was coming in from the space and went.
Yeah.
they got the time stone, and then
Oh my god, I love when Star-Lord comes in and he leaves. It's like, did we just lose? Like, that's a very important line, because the heroes never lose.
no,
And he was so surprised. Like did we just lose?
And then you see Tony's
The
face.
horror.
He stitched himself back up with like a freeze ray or whatever.
Why would you do that? Like, but you remember, how many instances did they win? 1, and he saw it. And he knows that this is how it's got to go for them to end up.
They have
okay.
to lose to win later.
And just we're in the end game now. And then it cuts back to Wakanda, and
Couldn't he just tell us like, hey guys, it's gonna be cool. It's all good.
and maybe he couldn't. Maybe that was also part of it too. Like, I can't explain the whole plan, because then that'll change other stuff. It'll change the way you react to things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And because time's weird, the way like you change one little thing, it could affect a bunch of other stuff. So we come back to Wakanda, and it's Vision and Scarlet Witch, and his stone starts to hurt, and he goes, he's here. In the silence, and the wind's blowing, and it shows every Avenger just kind of looking up in the sky, like it's just this eerie quietness. And that was another. There's so many oh shit moments. That was an oh shit moment, like when he says he's here and it just gets quiet. Thanos apparates there, and Bruce is like, it's him, Cap, and I love just Cap's gall. Like, there's a mad Titan alien in front of you with 5 of the 6 Infinity Gems, and to his knowledge has killed Tony. He doesn't know Tony's alive. He probably thinks he's dead. Like, because remember, he shows up with Rhodey, like, Earth just lost its best defender. Like, he probably thinks he's dead. And, he just looks at Thanos, looks at the Avengers, eyes up, stay sharp. And I thought that's when we were going to get the team shot. We didn't get a goddamn team shot in this movie, because Thanos just starts, get out of my way, get out of my way.
Not killing them, but just moving them out of the way. Just stay out of my way.
I love how he used the Space Stone to warp Banner into the rock. Like, and, it's this slow motion scene, and Vision grabs Scarlet Witch and says, like, you need to do this now. You see what he's doing to those guys right now. He's not going to be able to. We're not going to be able to stop him, but you can by destroying this. You cannot cause me pain. I just feel you. Call back to the line said earlier by her, and she starts doing her thing to the stone. The music's building, and then the Avengers all kind of get one last shot in. Cap got the most, and I think surprised Thanos a little bit. He slides in, turns around, goes knee, chest, chin with the shields. He knocks one of the shields off, comes with the gauntlet. You see the shots in the trailers, holds it back. And seriously, watch it again. Look at Thanos' face when he grabs the gauntlet the first time. It's almost like, huh. Like,
it's
damn.
Like, you got some fight in you.
But then he just wrecks Cap.
Just one punch.
And he was the last one, I think. Because, like, Cap... God, think about that. I would love to see that from the side angle. Like, Cap knows that he is the last thing standing between the stone and Thanos, and he's just doing everything he can, and it's not enough. But she ends up destroying. Vision blows up, like, completely.
Yeah, destroyed. But then you knew he had the time stone.
I love reactions, because we knew, because I think I even whispered, I went, time stone. Like that.
Time stone.
But I love going to other screenings with people who aren't as steeped, and like them thinking it's over.
Yeah.
How calm he was after Vision blew up, just like,
my child.
My child. That's when.
So he's like, oh, my child, to Scarlet Witch.
Like, I know what that feels like, because I've had to go through that shit today. I had to kill the person I love too.
Oh my god, no! With the line about time, he said.
Oh, he goes, now's not the time to mourn. Now's no time at all. And I love how the time stone, it's still the way it looks like when Doctor Strange does it. Like, it's
like, man, Strange had to train and practice to get that. And you just do it the first time.
And I think Vision got just such the shit end of this whole deal. Like, throughout the whole movie, he's just getting wrecked. Yeah. And imagine this. You have to tell the person you love they have to kill you. And then they do it. And their last words are, I love you. And then you wake up and you see Thanos right in front of you, pick you up by the throat, and with a smile on his face, and not with the gauntlet hand, just with his regular hand, go right through vibranium like it's nothing, and whoosh, rip his forehead out. And then the color goes out of him.
Yeah.
And just tosses him like he's trash. That was so unsettling to me.
Now, this next part, I really want to delve into. I know we've been going for a while now.
We knew it would happen, though.
But
we have to talk about everything.
I want to talk about this in a little more detail than I would normally. So, now he's got all 6. He is the most powerful being in the universe at this moment. Except for Thor. So Thor comes in, and I really want to focus on Thor here, because with Stormbreaker, so Thor's coming in, and he throws Stormbreaker at Thanos. Thanos is using the gauntlet, trying to stop Stormbreaker.
It's slowing down, but it ain't stopping.
Stormbreaker was not stopped by the Infinity Gauntlet. I'll say that again. Thor was not stopped by the Infinity Gauntlet.
No.
So, that tells me...
But I feel like it's the weapon, not Thor, because we saw Thor obviously get beat the shit out of earlier in the movie.
Yeah, but as Thor now...
Yeah, with that weapon.
Now he's powered by Stormbreaker.
A king's weapon.
He's now powered by Stormbreaker. I think Thor is the second most powerful being.
At that moment? In the universe at that moment?
I think he will be also in the future.
Now, he hits Thanos, and, it definitely hurts him.
It reminds me of, in The Force Awakens, when Chewbacca shot Kylo Ren right in the side. And he was obviously hurt, but then later in the fight, hit the side.
And then Thor... drives that shit in.
But there was hold on a second.
Sorry.
there was an entire blog about how powerful Kylo Ren is just from that. Because Chewbacca's weapon can throw stormtroopers left and right and obliterate people, and he took it like a champ.
Didn't fall.
Did not fall. He faltered. Did not fall. He stood right back up. That reminds me of how, of Thor, how powerful Thor actually is right now. And he's only had Stormbreaker for a little bit. Imagine the next movie when he's had Stormbreaker for quite some time, and it's just resting on his back, and then he's gonna wreck shop.
So it hits Thanos, and even when it hit him, and even when Thor drives that shit into his heart, and it looks like he did it, in my mind, I'm going, there's two things that are going in my mind. Is one, I'm actually thinking, they better not win. This better not be how they win. Because it's kind of even though it's badass, it's still anticlimactic, with how powerful we've seen Thanos. And he's just trying to muster some words. And I think he's almost toying with Thor a little bit.
Maybe, yeah.
And then he looks up, you should have went for the head. And then it pans to his hand.
And then you see Thor's face just...
No! And, dude, I somehow was watching the screen and your face. Because when I saw this happen, I'm like, oh my God, he's going to do it. I look at you, and you're like this. I thought it was immediately going to cut to the credits. You know what I mean?
That's what I thought, too.
But I'm glad
they
didn't.
Yeah.
Because it cuts immediately to what I think is Thanos went inside the Soul Stone. And the Soul Stone has Gamora's soul in it. Which is why he sees baby Gamora, little one. And that conversation is so important that they have. He's telling us, did you do it? Yes. But what did it cost? Everything. Again, humanizing this Titan who just wiped out half of the universe. Cuts back. I love the way it cut back, too. And you hear the rumble of everything that just happened. The gauntlet's fried. Now, the gauntlet's fried, but I think it's just from the power. He can still use it because he uses it immediately after that when he phases away. Like he uses the Space Stone and phases out.
I want to say it's not as powerful just because it's fried.
I don't think he could snap again if he wanted to. What happened if he snapped again? Like both halves? And then the way Cap reacts when he leaves. Like, this is the first time we've seen the Avengers down, but never beaten. And when Cap, like, because Thor knows what happened. He knows. He knows about the Infinity Gems and what they can do. Cap really doesn't know all that. Like, he's not aware. He just knows this is my mission. And Thor, like, Cap's holding his side, and he's beaten. It's like, where'd he go? Like, he almost, like, choked up. Like,
trembles. Like,
Thor, where'd he go? And then you just hear, Steve.
fades
Cuts
away.
to Bucky, and Bucky starts turning to ash. And then you see, I think it went from Bucky to the Wakandans on the battlefield. They're just, half of them just keep fading away. And then it's Okoye laying on the ground, and T'Challa crawling up to her like, General, get up. And then it was a great shot, the way they shot it, because at first you're not sure if it was her or him fading at first, because they were grabbing each other's arms, and then
Black Panther's gone.
there was a gasp. Like, no way they just did that with Black Panther, too. And then it starts just cutting around. The Groot one sucks, because Rockets had to see him die twice. And he didn't even get to grow up.
Oh, come on. He didn't.
Just,
Man.
I am Groot. And then the way Rocket reacts, just,
No.
no. I think after that's when it cut back to, we see Sam, Falcon,
Sam and Falcon.
Scarlet
They're
Witch.
the same-
I was going to say
they're
Sam.
the same person.
Scarlet Witch.
Yeah.
That one surprised me. And then we cut to Titan. And, it starts with Mantis, because Mantis senses it, with her powers.
The Guardians go.
Yeah, it's her, then Drax, then Quill, then Strange. And Strange's last words were, this is how it had to go, Tony. And then he fades. And then you just see Tony, and you just hear, Mr. Stark, I don't feel so good. Like, oh, no.
Spider-Man starts to fade away. He falls into Tony like, I don't want to go. And then he lays him down, and he just fades away.
Didn't he say sorry?
Yeah, he said,
sorry I couldn't do enough. Like, I wasn't a good enough Avenger. Like, and then Tony,
he's just sitting
and
there.
it's
with
him
his,
and Nebula are the ones left on the planet. Nebula's just like, he did it. He actually did
Then
it.
he's just sitting there with his hands in his or his face just.
So Tony's on Titan right now, pretty much alone. Like, there's not another Avenger with him or anything. It's just Tony and Nebula. Then obviously it cuts back to Wakanda, and it's Cap rolling over Vision's body, looking at him, and just kind of Cap takes it all in at one moment. And Rhodey runs up because he's confused. Like, what's going on? Cap, what's going on? And Cap just kind of sits down with his hand on Vision. All the Avengers basically with their heads down. I love though when Black Widow came in and sees Vision, like she had mouth open, like what's going on? And then Cap's last words are just, "Oh God." And then what did Thanos say he would do after he won? I would rest, smile upon the sunset, and look upon a grateful universe. And he did. He smiled and just looked out. He's just in his little
on this
cot.
green, luscious planet, and he's just sitting there, just proud.
The music builds, and then cut to black, and then directed by... What? Like, that's how you're going to end this movie? Are you kidding me? And now we got to wait a whole
And then it was like a horror movie type credits.
Oh, it was like an obituary or like in memoriam at the Oscars.
Kinda, yeah.
Like you know how pretty much every Marvel movie from Phase 2 forward, like I'd probably say every Marvel movie Phase 2 forward, the credits are 3D like credits with the actors' names and cool music, whatever. This was black background, Times New Roman, like white letters, very silent music playing, and just the names, just one at a time. And then when it came up, Avengers Infinity War, and you hear the Avengers theme, but just a little piano concerto, like dun dun dun, dun, and then it dusts away. And then we get to the after credit scene,
Yeah.
which I think is important for
super
multiple
important.
reasons.
So it cuts back to Earth, right? And you see Agent Hill with Samuel L. Jackson,
Nick Fury.
And, you see in New York,
We're driving along.
and you see people just fading away. You see a helicopter start to spiral out of control, crash into a building. This shit's affecting everybody. Literally the whole universe.
I like how Nick goes. But that's why I was like important for multiple reasons, because that scene shows that, because before all we were seeing was our heroes disappear, which is frightening enough. But now it's like this is affecting everything, and Earth as a whole, and the universe as a whole. And I like how Fury's like Code Red. Like he's just like he's trying to take it in, and then Hill goes, and when he knows Hill's going, he's like, I may go. So he rushes and gets this little, almost like a pager out of his bag, and he presses a button. Right as he's pressing it, it's like, starts to fade, motherfucker, and drops it, sending, dot, 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 boom, the Captain Marvel logo with the blue and the red. She's coming. We need her now.
Yep.
Now, also at the same time, I'm like, what the hell has she been doing? Did you not know this shit was going down? Like, what have you been doing? I hope they explain that very well. I think they will.
What if she was on Xandar?
Ooh.
What if she was on Xandar?
Or the Kree planet, because that's where she gets her powers, from the Kree.
Yeah, like she's on one of those planets. Either way, so we basically told you the whole movie, but
And our thoughts on it. I don't think we missed anything.
You
probably
just got to go see this movie. Please support this movie. Support it multiple times.
I think there's no more words. We just got a year.
We got it. We got it all out, I think.
I think remember how hyped we were for this movie? I think the hype's going to be even bigger for the next one. Just to feel how they come back in the team shot that we're going to get in the next movie.
Because they robbed us of it in this one.
When Tony... Okay, I will say this. The last thing really is that there are so many trailer shots that were not in this movie. They faked the hell out of us. And I'm thinking the next movie, somehow either Captain Marvel or Tony gets a gauntlet. Maybe they go back to that guy and he makes them a gauntlet. They get some of the stones back, and Tony or somebody snaps them back.
I don't know about that. Now you're stretching.
Like, how could you beat me, Stark? Well, I can't, but they can. And then it's just everybody running, and then Cap, Avengers, assemble! He has got to say that in the next. I knew he wasn't going to say it in this movie, because I almost knew that they would never all be together in this movie. Yeah. A part of me still thought they may towards the end, but I think the Russos are the ones that said it. This movie, imagine a movie where every act is the third act. That's this movie. That's how you describe it. And we gave it 10 out of 10s just for the pure entertainment value of this movie. And the rewatch factor is probably the highest of any Marvel movie, just for all the things you could miss or go back and re-theorize until next year. Yeah, we have a year to do this.
Yeah. Man. Whew. Spoiled that hard. All right, guys. How long has this been going?
Hour 7.
What?
An hour and 7 minutes.
An hour and 7 minutes?
I knew this would be the longest review, spoiler talk, whatever we've ever done.
It's been going a long time.
It has to be. The next one's going to be like 3 hours probably.
All right, guys. Let us know what you guys thought down in the comment section below. Make sure you guys like,
comment,
share,
and subscribe.
And go do yourself a favor. Go see this movie. And make sure you guys stay tuned.
Stay iconic.
And cue music.
Holy Grail.